Bless your heart. Why are you so angry? You're like an angry little elf. 10 years ago, I'd have been right back with her. That wasn't even confidence, right? That was just anxiety. Earned confidence is different. It comes from... All right, I'm 48 and I am officially done choosing. I mean, you know the old narrative, right? The one that says you can be smart or you can be pretty. You can be a good mom or you can be a rich CEO. You can be spiritual or you can be ambitious. It's like they're saying, pick a lane, sweetheart. You can't have it all. Well, here is the reality check. I want the lane that takes up the entire motherfucking highway. I simply refuse to settle. And if you feel the same, you want it all and you're tired of pretending that you don't, this one's for you. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Cynthia Garcia, and this is where we turn our hardest moments of our lives into the things that made us, where we rewrite the stories that have run our lives up until this point and refuse to apologize for wanting more. So today we're going to break down why it's okay to want more, what a midlife glow up actually looks like. We're going to be honest about wanting more money. I'm going to share with you some information on the new kind of confidence that repels what I call the angry elves of the world. So let's start there. So I have been thinking about confidence a lot lately, what it actually is. I've noticed how it changes as I get older. And yesterday, something happened that kind of captured the whole thing. So let me tell you this story. So I'm driving, right? I just picked up Rain from school. We're driving home just straight down the road. I'm minding my own business. I think I was trying to decide between two different podcasts, which is a very important decision. Obviously, life or death stuff happening out here in these streets. I don't know. And this younger woman, she's probably in her late 20s. I see her. She's like facing this way. She's in the turn lane. We're driving this way. She's in the turn lane facing this way. And she's like obviously wanting to cross the road and turn, right? Cool. She is so mad at me. I don't even know what I did to her. I have no idea. Maybe I just existed in the same dimension as her. Like maybe I took too long picking my podcast. I don't know. But she is losing it. And she's like throwing her hands up in the window and she's got that face, you know, the one like I personally ruined her entire life. You know what I mean? You get it. And I just looked at her, and I swear to God, the only thought in my head was, oh, honey, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Why are you so angry? You're like an angry little elf. And if you've seen the movie Elf, you know where that comes from. And if you don't, well, you should watch that movie. Anyways, I smiled and I kept driving. And I noticed, though, in that moment that it was a different sort of feeling than what younger me would have felt. Because 10 years ago, I'd have been right back with her, right? I'd have been like, what? I'd have been throwing hands up, all the things. And I would have replayed this for hours, right? I would have thought about what I should have done. I would have thought, wait, was she right? Should I feel bad? I'd have gone to dinner and brought it up with a friend so they could tell me that I was right and that I was a good person and that they still love me, right? Like all of the co-signing. But now it was just nothing. It was just kind of a peaceful type of confidence and this inner knowing. It was kind of like a feeling of, oh, bless her heart. I can't be bothered with this. Like, I hope she finds what she's looking for. Maybe a good therapist. I don't know. But I cannot be bothered with this young little human. So this newfound confidence, this peace, I call it earned confidence. And I haven't always had it. Like when I was young, confidence was about proving myself. It was about competing and measuring myself against every other woman in the room. I'd think, is she prettier than me? Does she have a better body? Wait, does she have more money? Is she more successful? That wasn't even confidence, right? That was just anxiety. But earned confidence is different. It comes from having been through enough shit that you actually know who you are, right? You know your patterns, your tendencies. You've seen yourself get knocked down and get back up enough times that you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. It's just like, you're just like, I got this, right? Sometimes Rain will say to me, well, Mom, what if this happens? And I have an answer. I know what I would do. It's just this deep knowing. I don't freak out and spin all the possibilities. I just know. This earned confidence is trusting that you know yourself so deeply that you have got whatever situation life throws at you. Now, I'm not perfect. I still fuck up all the time. I still eat my feelings sometimes and find my phone in the fridge and snap at Zach for breathing too loud. But I know myself now. I know how I will react in situations. And that kind of self-trust, you can't have it at 25. You have to earn it year by year, fuck up by fuck up. And that woman in traffic, she's still in the proving phase, right? She's still competing with strangers on the highway who are just trying to pick a podcast. Now, listen, I'm not mad at her. Not at all. I love her. I'm like, oh, honey, I was her. All right. But I'm not her anymore. Look, when you are navigating perimenopause and raising a teenager who thinks you're cringe and caring for aging parents, you start to realize that your energy is the most expensive currency that you have. And you literally cannot afford to spend it on people who are committed to misunderstanding you. The bottom line is my confidence these days is solid. I know what I bring to the table, and you can take a seat or don't. Okay, quick thing before we keep going. If you're a woman in business and you are ready to go from overlooked to impossible to ignore, then join me for a free training where I'm going to break down the exact 4-step process that I've used to make over $100 million across 6 different businesses in 4 different industries. Now, this is a live masterclass, so if it's still running, the link is going to be in the description. And if you're watching this later, no worries, I got you covered. There is a free audiobook version that you can grab anytime. All the links are in the description. All right, let's get back to it. Now, that confidence shift, that shift from proving yourself to just knowing who you are, it also connects to something bigger. That earned confidence is the foundation. You can't have it all if you don't even know who you are. But I also want to say that knowing who you are internally is only half the equation. You want to show up like her too, right? You want to look like the woman who demands respect, which brings me to the glow up conversation. I want to look good as I age. I want my outside to look like how I feel on the inside. And I don't apologize for that. Life's too short. It is high maintenance to be low maintenance. I fully admit that. Now, you can do whatever you want to do. You can choose whatever you want to choose. But today we're talking about having it all. So I'm going to say do whatever you want. Get the Botox, the laser, the procedure, invest in the skincare, the makeup, and the wardrobe. Listen, do you. Now, I talk a lot about this on my Instagram and TikTok. So if you want more specific tips on all of that, I would say go follow me there. So here's the thing I've noticed about glow ups. Everybody wants to separate the internal from the external. It's like you're either doing the deep inner work or you care about how you look. The spiritual people versus the superficial people, and you have to pick a team. But I don't know, I just feel like that's stupid. It's so dumb. Like you can't glow up on the outside if your life is a dumpster fire on the inside. I don't care if you're bathing in La Mer every night like you're some kind of luxury sea creature. If you're tolerating shit that's draining you, it's going to show up in your face and on your body and in your energy. And no serum is going to fix that. The real glow up is an identity shift. You have to be the person you want to become, not someday, but now. When I decided that I was ready for my next chapter, which was launching my skincare company, Rewritten, I got very clear on who I wanted to be next. I thought about, what does she eat? How does she move? What does her calendar look like every day? What is she doing? And I acted accordingly. I got clear on what she wore, how she spoke, what limiting stories had to be rewritten, and I did that work too. And the biggest thing I did was I decided who she spends time with, because not everyone got to come into the next chapter with me, and they don't get to come with you either. Some people knew the old you, the one that played small, who apologized for wanting things, who made herself smaller so everyone else could feel comfortable, who laughed at jokes that weren't funny and said, it's fine, when it wasn't fine. And some of those people, they won't recognize the woman you're becoming. And some, they're not going to like her. She'll make them uncomfortable. I mean, you know the ones. I bet you're thinking of them right now. The friend who gets weird every time something good happens to you, the family member who needs you to stay in your old role, the colleague who liked it better when you were struggling. It's funny, not long ago, I ran into a woman that I knew from years ago, long before I was as successful or as confident as I am now. And we got to chitting and chatting, and she wanted to make plans to catch up properly. She wanted to go have drinks and go out on the town. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I said to her, yeah, I'm actually really focused on my business, my health, my family. So right now, I'm not really available for that. And I could tell it poked her a little, but she gave that little laugh like one does. And, the one that's like, I'm not serious, but I'm actually dead ass serious. And she said to me, I think I like the old you better. Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you fucking did. I'm sure. Because old me would have said, sure, I'd have worked around her schedule, stayed out late, probably drank too much because I thought that's what would have pleased her. But not new me, not anymore. The point of this is your next chapter has a guest list and not everyone makes it on it. And since we're in confession mode, since I'm already saying all the things that probably shouldn't say out loud, let me just go ahead and take it one step further. I love money. I mean, I love it. I could lick it. I love it. Money's my favorite. It's one of my favorite things. And it will never be enough. I mean, I remember I had a massage therapist one time who said, look around, when is it going to be enough? And I thought, never. I will always want more. I just know that. I know it. Now, I also know that I'm supposed to say that I love impact and purpose. I love making a difference. And I do, but also money. And I don't apologize for that. Now, I've been lucky enough to have had a career where me making money means me helping a lot of people and having a lot of impact, for sure. But would I have done that for free? I don't know. I'm just saying. Look, at this age, being rich isn't just about luxury. It's about having options. It's about knowing that if shit hits the fan, I have the money in the bank to handle it. Last year when we had those crazy fires in Los Angeles, my family and we were evacuated from our home. And I didn't have to worry for 1 second about where we would go or how we would manage or how I would pay for it. I took us to a nice hotel. I got us what we needed. I had all the resources for that. It never even entered my mind. And I am so grateful for that. So grateful. But I don't just want to be grateful for what I have. I want more success, more wealth, more freedom. And both of those things can be true. Somewhere along the way, we got this message that wanting more means that we don't appreciate what we have. But that's just not true. That's just a story. So let's talk about what we've been told about wanting more, about desire. From the time we're these little girls, we've learned that good girls don't want too much. Good girls are grateful for what they have. Good girls don't ask for more attention or more success or more pleasure or more space. And wanting something was reframed as lacking, as if desire meant you weren't satisfied, as if being hungry for something bigger meant that you were ungrateful for what you already had. And so we learned to shrink our wants, to qualify them, to apologize for them before we even said them out loud. I know I have said things like, I know this sounds greedy, but, or I probably shouldn't want this, but, or it's stupid, but I've always dreamed of. Can you relate? It's like we've learned to make our desires smaller so other people would be comfortable with them. But here's the truth about wanting more, the truth about desires. Desire is information. It is your inner compass pointing you towards something that matters. It's the part of you that knows what you want, even when your logical brain is busy making excuses for why you can't have it. When you feel desire, that rich, deep, aching desire, that's not weakness. That is your truest self telling you where to go next. And when you just suppress that, or you ignore it, or you minimize it, or worse, you shame yourself for feeling it, you're abandoning yourself. I think that women especially have been taught that desire is dangerous, that it's just something you shouldn't have. Like desire for success makes you ambitious, and ambitious women are threatening and mean and they're bitches, right? Desire for pleasure, that makes you hedonistic, right? Hedonistic women, you're just a whore. You should be ashamed. Desire for attention makes you vain. And vain women are just ridiculous. We all know that, right? Desire for more, makes you ungrateful. And ungrateful women, like, who wants that? It's like every form of female desire has been turned into a character flaw. There's always a word or a label or a judgment waiting to just put you right back into your place. Every time a woman wants something, there is a word waiting to shame her for it. But here's what I know. The women who change the world are the ones who stop apologizing for wanting things. They want the career, they want the money, they want the recognition, they want to look and feel great, they want pleasure, and they want to be seen and heard and valued and desired, and they go after it without shame. So let me tell you about a shift that happened for me in my early 40s. For most of my life, I treated desire like it was something I had to manage and kind of tap down. I'd feel a pull toward something, maybe a dream, an opportunity, something I wanted. And then immediately my brain would start calculating, is this realistic? Is this appropriate? What will people think? Am I even allowed to want this? Like, I would sit and negotiate with my desires, and I'd talk myself down from them. I'd settle for something smaller or safer, or just more acceptable. And then something changed. I started asking a different question. Instead of, am I allowed to want this? I started asking, what if this desire for something, this wanting more, this wanting in general, knows something that I don't? What if the wanting itself was the signal? What if that pull towards something bigger wasn't greed, but it was guiding me, right? And that shift, when I started to kind of be open to that and allow that to be true, that shift changed everything for me. I stopped apologizing for wanting to build something meaningful at 48 when most people thought I should be winding down. I stopped shrinking my vision so that it would fit inside other people's expectations of me. I stopped pretending that I didn't want success and recognition and impact and beauty and pleasure, like all of it, like literally all of it. I just let myself want what I want without feeling ashamed of it. For the first time in my life, I did that. And here's what happened. I started moving toward those things instead of away from them. I started making decisions based on what I actually desired instead of what I thought I was supposed to want. These desires became my compass instead of just my enemy, right? So whatever it was I desired, I found a way to put it on my calendar or meet the person or do the thing. You know, I think that one of the biggest lies we've been told is that desire and contentment are opposites, right? That if you want more, you can't possibly be grateful for what you have. That if you're satisfied, you shouldn't have desires. But that's just not how it works. I mean, you could be deeply grateful for your life and hungry for more of it. Like, you can love where you are and be pulled toward where you're going. You can be content and still want more at the same time. In fact, I would argue that the healthiest relationship with wanting more includes both gratitude for what is, but desire for what's next. Neither of them cancels the other out. So maybe we could just stop apologizing for wanting it all. Maybe we could just start listening to our desires and then acting on them. I built Rewritten because I desired something that didn't exist. I wanted skincare that actually worked at the cellular level. I wanted a brand that spoke to women like me, women who were refusing to fade. I wanted to create something meaningful in an industry that too often trades on fear and shame. And that desire for me was strong. I was content with what I had and the impact I was making and the money I was making, and I wanted more. So instead of talking myself out of it or deciding that I was too old or too inexperienced or too late, I did it. I just did the thing anyway. And that's what desire does when you let it. It leads you somewhere that you couldn't have planned, like somewhere that feels more like you than anything you've ever done before. So here's what I'll leave you with. Your desires are not dangerous. They are the part of you that knows what you came here to do, what you came here to experience and to create and to become. And every time you shame yourself for wanting, every time you shrink your desires to make other people feel comfortable, every time you settle for less because you're afraid of being too much, you're betraying that part of yourself. And I don't know, it might be cool if you just stopped betraying yourself and just let yourself want what you want and trust that you want it for a reason, because you do. And on that note, a toast. I'd like to thank myself for wanting it all and for not apologizing for it, for refusing to shrink so other people could feel comfortable, for caring about my face and my business and my bank account and my peace, all of it at the same time. I'd like to thank myself for becoming the kind of woman who doesn't ask permission anymore, who doesn't wait to be chosen, who just chooses herself. To who we were, to who we are, and to the icons we are becoming. For that and so much more, I'd like to thank myself. I'm Cynthia Garcia, and this is I'd Like to Thank Myself. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Share this with somebody that you know that needs to hear it. The links for Undeniable are all in the description, so check those out. And if you like this episode, then I would say subscribe, and I will see you back here for the next one.